What's up, guys? It's a little bit breezy. I apologize about that. But today I bring to you a serious topic. And it has to do with the Humane Society. Um, for those of you who don't know, the Humane Society is an organization that takes in strays and other animals and stuff. And, like, if you can't take care of your pet, they'll take it and stuff. This has to do with them, and it's really bad. Because if you're someone who cares about animals and pets like me, then it's extraordinarily bad because it is insanely cruel what they're doing. To make it brief of an explanation, my neighbor does not take care of his pets at all. He's gotten several cats, and the first one, like, they're outside cats over there, and they don't take care of them at all. They don't feed them, nothing. And those cats started coming over here because we would feed them and give them water and stuff. And the first cat, which they named Storm, the paperwork is now signed over to us via the Humane Society. However, they had another cat, a young female, looks like a Maine Coon, and a few days ago, around, like, I think it was Saturday, she came over here, like, it was the middle of the night, and because we usually let them in at night because they don't get let in at home. We let them in at night so that way they have a place to stay in case it rains or something. And I noticed that the young female, because I was the one that let her in, she had a broken leg. The leg, it was either sprained or something. I at first thought it was dislocated for how limp it was, but it was actually turned out to be broken. But see, that already tells me that my neighbor just doesn't care about his pets at all, and they just get injured willy-nilly. Now, this isn't about my neighbor. I don't like my neighbor at all. He lets his kids do all sorts of crazy stuff that is legitimately illegal, and the cops do nothing whenever we report it. However, this is about the Humane Society because the first day the leg was really limp, and it was the same size as the other leg, so the injury was recent, and we didn't do anything because we were like, maybe it's just a sprained leg that it was sprained really bad, and this will clear up over a few days or something. Nope, that wasn't the case. So the next day, her leg had become swollen, about probably 0.75 times as thick as the other leg for how swollen it was, and we were like, oh, that's not looking good. And we were getting concerned but still hopeful. And on the third day, it was like at least more than twice the size of the other leg. And we're like, okay, we need to do something. We called the Humane Society, and they're like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound good. And then when we went over there, the first cat that my neighbor didn't take care of, that cat was actually from the Humane Society, and they transferred him to us. But the great kicker is the next part. We brought the injured cat in, and what they told us at first, and we all argued about it, and everybody said that I misheard what the guy said at the Humane Society, but he said that her injured leg won't be able to be looked at for 7 to 10 days once she's been checked in. So, like, we checked her in, and then we had to wait 7 to 10 days. And my dad, my mom, everybody said no, they didn't say that. It just was me and my dad that dropped her off. But we dropped her off, and that's what the guy said. And then he said if it's severe enough after we have her looked at, it probably is going to have to be amputated. And I was like, that why would you wait that long on a severely injured leg? She didn't ever try to walk on it. She kept it off the ground. You could tell it was in pain. She was constantly breathing really hard, and the guy at the Humane Society pushed the cat down because she was scared when we took her there, and he pushed her against the table trying to catch her, which he failed to do because she is really skinny and extremely malnourished, which is why we were trying to feed her. Anyway, everybody was saying, no, no, that's not what they said, but turns out I was right. Today we made a call, and we were like, my mom made the call asking, hey, how's that cat doing? We're really concerned, and we really liked her, we were really attached, blah, blah, blah. And what the girl on the phone, well, first off, the girl on the phone treated my mom like she was the main perpetrator. She was really rude to my mom, even though she was just checking up on the cat that we brought in. But anyway, the lady was like, yeah, no, the bone was snapped in half, which there, let me make it clear, there was no injuries on the outside of this cat's leg whatsoever. Like, it wasn't a dog that bit her or something, and my neighbor has dogs. It wasn't that. I speculate it's something like she got kicked, and my neighbor has kids that are utterly destructive to everything, toys, other things, and my neighbor lets them have axes and all sorts of stuff. I think it could have been one of the kids, or maybe my neighbor, who is an alcoholic over there, like kicked the cat when he got mad or something. That's what I think personally, but this is just speculation. But they, instead of taking care of the cat, and we suspect it had to be a very recent break in the leg, because it wasn't swelling for the first day, and then on the second day it was swollen, and then on the third day very swollen. So it wasn't that long, but the Humane Society is saying that it's been far too long since the original break. And for everything I've ever learned about medicine, broken legs, compound fractures, all of those different types of breaks and everything, because I have a few different medical manuals that I read for fun, just because. And I know that sounds crazy, but I read them for fun. And I also have a marine guide that was my brother's marine handbook, and it also had medical stuff in there that I read, and it also had stuff about fractures, different types of fractures and stuff like that. So I know for a fact, and I know it's a cat, not a human. However, I know for a fact it hasn't been too long to save the leg. But the number one resounding thing is that they said, well, we cannot give the cat to a vet for 10 days to get her logged into our system. And that is just so inhumane and cruel. The cat is in extreme pain. Can you imagine having a fully broken in half leg, shin, or even thigh bone, a femur? That is so excruciatingly painful. It's never happened to me, but for the injuries that I've had, and multiplying it by 100, that's unbearable. That's insane. And for the Humane Society to just rule it off and be like, oh, well, can't do it, 7 to 10 days, unless it's life-threatening. What about sepsis? What about things like that? You don't know what's going on inside the leg. And let's say they did scan it and say, oh, well, there's nothing else wrong, it's a clean break. Go and fix it. Bring the cat to a doctor. You're going to take off an entire cat's leg because you're too damn lazy? Oh, policy. That's inhumane. Humane Society, my ass. That pisses me off to an undeniable degree. This video is just bringing some light to how trash the Humane Society actually is. They're like my leg is doing that little like stompy tapping thing when you're just sitting down, because I'm pissed. There is no level of like anything that will convince me that they are not being inhumane and cruel to that animal. Because not any point in my life would I ever let an animal suffer like that for like several days to get that treated. Let's say they gave her some pain medication. Cool. But she's going to lose her leg. The lady said on the phone that they're scheduling the amputation. This all could have been avoided if they just immediately got to work. We called them after, so we brought her to them on Monday. So yeah, it's been about 3 days since we brought her to the Humane Society. They could have already had her in a cast or had something being worked on for her leg. For all that I've ever learned about medical, even for veterinarian medical, for everything I've ever learned in every book, in every document, this could have been solved. It could have been fixed quickly, and it wasn't. Because, I don't know, maybe ineptitude, maybe because they're lazy, maybe it's just not profitable enough for them. And that's, to be quite frank, excuse my French, bullshit. That's bullshit. No animal should ever have to suffer like that because of the ineptitude or the company being like, oh, well, we don't really want to. No, that's crap. That should be crap. That shouldn't be allowed. So, If you give money to the Humane Society or you know someone that does, share this video with them. Stop giving money to these people. They don't care about animals. That is very clear in how they act. Maybe they did at one point. Most companies start off with good intentions and then they turn into something like this. And that's not acceptable. So stop giving money. Share this video with someone. If you know they give money to the Humane Society, stop giving these freaks money, because this is completely unacceptable trash behavior, mistreating animals that don't deserve it. I've got nothing left to say. Thank you all my Templar Knights and Knightesses for watching this. I hope you all have a great day. Keep your animals safe. Stay good to the creatures around you, because they live and breathe just like us. See you all next time. Don't forget, we all live on the same earth together.